I remember one time specifically when it was the first or second day on a job and I started to cold call and my hands were trembling, I had a cold sweat, and I couldn't wait for the decision maker not to answer the phone. It was such a relief when I would get a voicemail because it was so much easier to not face somebody who could potentially tell me no or have some kind of question that I didn't know how to answer. And in that moment, it was a call-to-call type of mental progression that I had to take in order to get through those moments. I remember those early moments when I would hear a no. Sometimes I would freeze up. Sometimes there would be long gaps between the time that they would say no and the time that I would actually come up with words to say in response to that no. And it was simply fear. It was simply fear that I would be rejected. It was simply fear that they wouldn't book the appointment with me when that was my ultimate goal. But it was the wrong thing to look at. My mindset started to shift to how can I help them? A lot of our callers might have call reluctance because they're afraid they're not going to have a good answer. Well, this is something that you can develop as well, and I wish that I knew. I could have some anchor responses that regardless of what they threw at me, even if it was a wild curveball or some type of a question I've never heard before, that I could have some base responses that would save me or buy me some time that I can answer later. When I started to look at no's as an opportunity in cold calling rather than a liability, it allowed me to dig deep inside to find what it was that, first of all, encouraged them to give me a rejection, and second of all, to respond in a way that would help them to see the value a little bit better. And I think that is the lesson I learned. No's make me work, and they require brain power, and they require a certain will to get through. Now when I look at no's, I'm excited because it charges me up, and the passion to help this person see what I can help them with begins to create a fire that can then take me to the next call to be even better. If there's anything I've learned in the last 15 years of cold calling, it's that mindset is the first priority before getting on the phone. It's okay to hear no's. It's okay to hear objections. That's a natural part and can actually energize you to dig deep and find answers and ways to respond that can not only help the prospect, but also you can glean and take to your next call.